So the government has started to regulate the sale of cigarettes, which has been done via limiting sales to large and more costly quantities. So based on your knowledge of addiction, do you think that it will be successful in stopping people smoking?
It could be. For some people who obviously, for financial reasons, who can't afford to pay for more for cigarettes, it could be successful in those terms. But looking at it from people who are addicted to tobacco or who have similar addictions, there are whatever type of behaviour you engage in, whether it's alcohol, drugs, and similar behaviours, there's release of dopamine from the brain, which is a chemical which is released, which then tells your brain that that activity should be done again because it's pleasurable.
Yeah.
So whether the cost of cigarettes is cheap or expensive, it may not matter for many people because it's worth the money to spend more and to do that activity. So smoking can be addictive in that sense because from a biological perspective, it's just replaying that behaviour which is going to be pleasurable for that person. So it's one way the government could use that type of tactic to decrease the sale of cigarettes and decrease that type of behaviour.
Yeah.
But I think other ways of managing smoking behaviour and decreasing cigarette smoking could be quite successful too.
So do you think that people just still tend to find a way around this? Around the price factor and getting their cigarettes from different sources?
Yes, that may be a big issue because you can see from history in America where they tried to prohibit the sales of cigarettes or alcohol.
Yeah.
There were people who would find other ways of doing it. So it went underground. So there was a black market which emerged. So there is that possibility. People would always find there's always like a loophole or a way of getting hold of the goods, whether it's expensive or cheap. But there is usually a way.
Okay, brilliant. How much of addiction do you think is biological in comparison to it being social or the individual's choice?
That's a good question. There are different aspects. There are biological, there are social, and environmental aspects as well. So as we said, there are some researchers are focused on the genetic aspects. So it may be that where they've looked at twin studies where you have twins and they try to examine them coming up in together in a certain same environment or a different environment, and there's some evidence to suggest that genetics does play a role. So it's something which you inherit from your parents and they inherited it from their parents and so on.
Okay.
So the biological aspects is usually those genes or the release of dopamine due to an activity which you engage in. But the social and environmental aspects are really important too. So in terms of social aspects, it could be something, an activity such as cigarette smoking can be seen as an activity which is acceptable in a society. Your peers are doing it. Is something which you do in order to keep in contact with, to get together when you get together with friends and so on.
Yeah.
And the environment again. So this is more on a general basis. So it could be to do with advertising. It could be to do with the people, your family and friends.
Yeah.
So it's more on a societal basis where you're looking at it from that kind of aspect. So all these different aspects, the social, the environmental and biological aspect, they all have a role in the whole behaviour.
Right, okay. So going back to what you said about advertising, brands of cigarettes have been told to take their advertising off of their packets. This is supposedly to deter new smokers from smoking because they're not too sure what cigarettes to buy because before they'd be looking for that particular packet or something like that because it draws them in because of the advertising on there. Do you think that this will stop people from smoking or new smokers?
Yes, in a way it will. There's a lot of psychological evidence to suggest that advertising has a big role. So for new smokers, yes, it will play a big role. But people who have been smoking and who know the impact and the pleasure they get from smoking, for them it may not be much of a deterrent. But for new smokers, yes, and for younger smokers, yes, I can see it working.
You can see it working.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.